Welcome back to another episode of the Hoggie Shuffle, the show where we get lost in the shuffle and live in the trenches. This is the episode. It's episode 24. It's all about change. Coaches getting fired, coaches stepping down, system changes, leaders leave. But the best teams, the best programs, they don't collapse. They reload. They get better. And honestly, today we got a special guest as well, too, on the podcast. We got Justin Mateer. He'll be along for the ride today, breaking down his thoughts on the NFL. And I'll tell you, we got some questions to ask him as well, too, and see what he thinks. As always, host Preston here, co-host Robbie, and like I said, we got our special guest in today as well, too, Justin. So it's going to be a fun time.
Good to be here, guys. Exciting.
So today we are breaking down, like I said, how teams stay successful and coaches leave. Big trench plays from the guys who do the dirty work every snap. We got trench-heavy playoff matchups. We decided up front as always. And we got, like I said, we got the guest who has lived football at multiple levels, and he's going to see how the game's changed over time. We're talking ball. We're talking culture. We're talking big men, so let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's do her.
As always, first step's always Coach's Corner. So topic today is going to be what happens when a coach gets fired or stepped down. You know, how do teams bounce back from that? Right? Big picture, obviously change is inevitable in football. Good programs plan for it. Bad programs are going to crumble. You see it all the time, NFL style. New coaches come in. Doesn't always work out. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You know, I've seen it on the, like, for example, just always say the Eagles side. Doug Peterson took us to a Super Bowl. We won the Super Bowl. He leaves. Sirianni, it took him, 4 years to get, like, he went there, and 2, but it took him 4 years to win it. And, looking at other programs, obviously, I know Justin's a big Steelers guy. He obviously got to watch his coach on there be the guy forever. I mean, 19 seasons? That's huge.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. It was a good time. Good decade and a bit.
3 coaches ever on them Steelers. I tell you,
what is it? 3 coaches in 50 years plus? Like,
the Raiders are paying 5 coaches this season, maybe 6.
I did see that. It's pretty ridiculous. It's what do they got? Gruden. They got the guy from last year as well too. They got Pete Carroll now. They're paying. There's 2 more guys. I don't even know who they exactly are. But I'll tell you what, it's a lot of coaches.
Don't forget about Uncle Josh.
Yep.
Come on, he's in there.
Yeah, he's still in there. Antonio Pierce. Yeah.
Oh, Antonio Pierce. Wish we still had him.
I actually liked Antonio Pierce too, by the way.
I thought he did a good job. I really did. Look at it like this: like, systems can change, standards can't. So when you have a good coach that comes in, he understands what that team's built, those standards they've practiced over the last few years. And if you go in there and you reinvent the wheel, nothing's going to work. The guys aren't going to follow you. You got to kind of do what the last coach did in a sense, follow the little steps, but in a proper way. Because if you follow everything he did, you're going to be out too, right? You got to use the building blocks to build a proper program and keep building up. And teams that survive, they take that challenge, right? They know, hey, we're the guys out here. The guys that are playing, those are the guys that actually know what's going on, how successful they want to be, where they want to get to, if they know if they're a playoff team or not. They know the little things they need to get there as well.
Well, you look at Ben Johnson at the handshakes with Green Bay, and then that story says it all right there.
I love
that. Down, crawls down, gives him the dirty handshake, and then walks off. No hugs, no nothing. Goes to the locker room. I hate the Packers.
I like the feistiness, and he doesn't care. He wants the rivalry. He thrives on the rivalry. You get more out of your players when it's a game like that. Yeah, it'll probably come back and bite him next year, but it's exciting stuff.
Oh, in the same sense, like, we have the same idea on our high school level when we're playing against teams like, PWA, comp, teams like that, even HTA on that higher level as well, too, where you just want to get those wins in. It doesn't matter how gritty that win is. Like 2 years ago when we came back and beat AOB in that championship playoff game, that was huge. You get those games where you get those wins at the end and you don't think it's going to happen, and then all of a sudden it does, and you don't even know what to do with your hands. You're just sitting there like, I don't know how it happened. And that's the love and the love of the sport. Seeing those kids, seeing those people just be so successful with it.
Yeah. Well, what big thing is he took the role of being in Chicago, and you know how the Bears were feisty, they're gritty, they were always a beast, right? Back in the day. But he's bringing on the city's identity a little bit, right? Definitely. He's trying to bring some swagger back, right? Like, I think that team could have won multiple Super Bowls if they had a little bit of swagger there, and he's bringing 100%. It back. Right?
He
like,
is.
I haven't seen this exciting since Rex Grossman. But,
still a millionaire. Still a millionaire.
Still dealing. Yeah. No, but it's now the players are going to die for that guy, man.
Oh, exactly.
Like, they see what their coach is doing.
you get that player-led accountability, and that's really what changes what's going on, right? When you have the quarterback, you got the middle linebackers, the O-line are the biggest ones too. Like when they believe in that coach and they understand this new guy coming in, maybe there's good things he's bringing in that we can roll with this, and our run game can get going, our pass game can get going. It changes everything, and then you start winning games, and then all of a sudden you start really believing in the guy. That's really what changes. If you go in there and you start losing games right out the gates, that trust is gone. You win 1, 2, 3 games, and all of a sudden now you've got guys that are following you into war. They're getting their packs on, they're jumping out of the plane with you.
Yeah, the only thing I look at, Ben Johnson doing that type of stuff. I see Sirianni. We all see him going down a tunnel and saying his piece to the fans and all that stuff. You set almost like a dangerous precedence where, okay, our coach did it. Now you got players doing it, right? And then how far does it go? How can you put that leash in a sense?
Next thing you know, you're spitting on guys before the game starts.
Well, and then you start fighting with each other. There's a little bit more emotion, and there's a little bit more things, right? So sometimes, you look at Signetti like his team.
Oh, dude,
fiery like the Oregon coach. That Oregon coach is feisty.
Oh, yeah.
But you even see in that level, and it goes up. Those are still men out there, right? But if you start doing that, and you kind of see with Sirianni a little bit, and he's an amazing coach. There's definitely no change there, but you play a game, and now you get Antonio Brown kind of doing his stuff, and you get people doing their things. And Tomlin, a lot of time, he was always professional, but I think he started losing his guys he'd have that swagger walk after the win, beat his chest when he'd win, and he'd do all that. And I just think more professional might help, but like in this case with Ben Johnson, you got nothing to lose, man. Go for it.
Well, I really liked what Sirianni said after the game, where he was just like, they're asking him, what happened with you and AJ? What happened? And he's just like, yeah, we get into arguments sometimes. We have all the emotions. We love each other. We hate each other. We went through every single stage of emotion. And all we were doing was just trying to get him off the field. And he just squashed it instantly because he's not about to go on live TV and badmouth his player. You can tell, even though it got heated, he's not about to go take that and air out all their business. And that's important.
We knew it was more than that.
Oh, 100%.
That was a pretty classy move for him, right?
I like that. Yeah, Rob, were you saying something?
I'm good.
So, I mean, you look at this like in the same sense of why teams fail after coaching change. If a coach is so culture driven but not program driven, his leadership will leave with the staff. So those guys aren't going to follow what he does. A lot of coaches, when they do take over a program, they like to fire the staff, bring in their guys, bring those guys in. But the great coaches, those are the ones that can work with anybody. Those are the ones that they go to war, they battle out, they do the proper film, the proper breakdowns, everything else. And then those guys are going to follow them anywhere, So it takes that special kind of person to really be able to lead a group of men, of young men, of really any level that you see in football to be able to get to them to that level. And it's not an easy job. Head coaching is not one of those things that I wish on anybody. I'll tell you what, after doing it for a year, I can tell you it is tough. Like it is one of those things where if you win, it's awesome. The players did it. But if you lose, it's all on you.
And that's why you bring your own guys in, right? Like that's why you see coaches, even yourself, like, let's go and get my buddies, the guys I know that have the same
trust,
standards, exactly. the same standards that I do of like,
they're going to have your back
steps, right? And you want good leaders out there. So you see these guys that say, no, I'm coming, I'm bringing this OC, I'm going to get this special teams guy. Like I want these guys because they're bringing the same message. They're not, they're not coming down with something different. Hey, let's ignore this patch and do our own thing. Like they're there for the fight.
One of the hardest things for me was, I was doing, like, through the Broncos, for example, I was doing the DC role, and I realized that our special teams just wasn't getting to that point. And I gave it for about 2 games, and I realized, like, I'm going to have to call the special teams. I'm going to have to realize that this just isn't working. I'm changing everything on our special teams because and that's the fun but stressful part of being the head coach, is realizing that you have that power to be like, you know what? I don't like this. I'm changing it. I think this is going to work better. And it did. It really did. We put in a system where we had up front, up back blockers blocking for our punt plays and things like that. And it just changed our whole dynamic. We had a great fake field goal play that we scored 3 touchdowns on in the season. And one was in the playoffs, which was unreal. We're in our playoff game. We're scoring a touchdown with a fake field goal in the first drive of the game. The stuff like that where it's just you see the little things that you put in as a head coach. And when it works, it's awesome. When it doesn't work, it sucks because it's all on you. But again, when it works, you're just like, man, I'm glad that kid can do what I thought he could do. It changes everything.
I think at this level too, especially in the NFL, the times I really see coaching changes really fall is when you and a prime example for me is Dallas. You
Yep.
know, they've brought in great coaches there.
Oh yeah, McCarthy was a great coach when he went in there.
And when you have an instant disconnect with your ownership,
Yeah.
you have
Makes it tough.
zero control. And as a head coach, you try to hold it together, but maybe you don't care as much. Maybe the prep doesn't seem as much. But, you know, you have any disconnect from your management, it really hurts on that end.
No big time.
And you look at, I think this is what happened in Baltimore, judging by some of the comments we'll discuss later,
Oh
definitely
yeah.
about Baltimore. But, you know, like, I, I I love what Art Rooney said, and I think that's why they were successful for 19 years. I think that's why they were successful with Coward. I think certain groups or just the ownership, sometimes you have to give them that and give them years. Like you're not just going to be dead last and all of a sudden you're going to be first in your division and you're winning Super Bowl championships. Like this is a process. This is a 3, 4, 5. Like for me, everything's a 5-year process, right?
100%.
Yeah, you look at Denver. The last 5 years, they just boom, up to this, right?
5 years. It's not even 3 years.
Well, this was a quick turnaround, I tell you.
Oh, yeah.
They only
done
got
well.
they only got buddy 3 years ago.
I still say this, and I've been standing on business. I still do not believe in Bo Nix. I think he is a flash in the pan quarterback, and I do not think he's a franchise quarterback.
I, it's a tough one. Like, it's pretty. Peyton, very good with his quarterbacks.
Oh yeah,
You know, he had Drew Brees. Like,
that says a
won
lot.
Super Bowl, right? Like, so there's a lot. No, Drew Brees was a Hall of Famer. She's never been traded from LA, from the Chargers. But,
Right.
you know, Peyton does know how to get a lot of his players. And I think what happened when he had that bounty gate and all that with his players, instantly there was a fault talk, and then obviously he left because he wasn't feeling eye to eye with his ownership, right? So once you have that breakdown at all, your season's over.
Well, and it comes down to the biggest thing the Broncos did was that when they had Wilson there, they gave him way too much. You know, having his own office upstairs, having all his own personal stuff. It just
Peyton didn't like it.
Exactly. It didn't work because you look at a guy who's now above the team. You know, where you get a younger guy coming in there, and like I said, I don't believe in the guy, but I do believe in the system. I think the system's great. I think the way that Sean Payton runs it is great. I think they have a great system that works around the guy, and you're going to see success out of that for sure. But on any other team or with any other coach, I don't think you'd see that same success. And the same goes with Jalen Hurts. You know, you look at a guy where he works great in the system, works great with the guys that are around him, but you put him on a team like you know, the Jags, or you put him on a team like the Falcons, he's not going to do the same stuff.
No.
I don't know. I think no matter where you put Jalen Hurts, I think he's such a team guy. See his interviews, never puts anybody under the bus. Very well spoken. I just think as a coach, you know, how can you go wrong with a guy? He's not bigger than anybody. He's out with his team. He's very engaged. I think you're going to have more issues with a guy like Jackson Dart.
Yeah,
Yes.
I see that. Yep.
You know, a guy's getting a little cocky, has money, gets flashy in New York. All of a sudden, you're doing these dances and stuff. And I don't mind the dances and stuff, but, you know, I just look at it for me personally, and I'm old school a little bit like that. I love guys that are like Tom Brady. You score that touchdown, you are jacked.
Oh yeah, he's you know, he's getting the pump going.
You're
He's
not
hyped.
doing the dancing jigs. Like, it's like, you know, Jalen Hurts never did any of that stuff.
No.
I don't even see Mahomes really doing that stuff.
No,
It's
he
just
doesn't.
celebrate with your team and you run off the field.
Yep.
That's what I like about Bo Nix. He's not dancing. He's not doing this. But you watch guys that are doing the jig as a quarterback and doing all that stuff. And you look at Aaron Rodgers, and as much as I liked Aaron Rodgers this year, giving out the belt and trying to make all these funny things of doing the tush push and sitting there with his hands on his hip. You look like an idiot now.
Right.
Randy Moss mooning the crowd. Pretending.
Like, everything bites you in this league. Like, I didn't see Caleb Williams doing any of that stupid shit. Now I've seen Love do some stupid stuff and
Yep.
celebrate weirdly, and we've all seen Dax do some weird stuff, right? But they fall short. It's almost
There
like
we go.
yeah, almost like too much added pressure on yourself, right? Russell Wilson, that's a weird one.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah, I just think he has too much money.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm.
Well, guys, that comes down to it,
Yeah.
though. Bottom line, right? Systems change, standards
Yeah.
don't. If the trenches stay strong, the program survives. That's the true reality of it all. Leadership, it holds. Everything else falls in line. You know, you get those guys, those veteran guys on the team that keep everything together, and that's what makes a big difference. So, really, like I said, it comes down to it. Coaches change. That's okay. As long as the main morals and the main values of that team stay the same, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Mhm.
It's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Be honest. Honestly, man, they're men. Well, a lot of them, a couple boys out there still, but they're older, right? They're all voters. And if you're not honest with
Voters.
these guys, say, hey, you're not playing. You're not playing good enough. Yeah, that
Exactly.
hurts. Now you got to be compassionate when you do it a bit, but be honest with them. Hey, man, you're not playing these snaps. You're not looking the cues. You didn't do your homework. You didn't look at the game film. You're lost out there. You're out. You're out. But give him the reason why he's out. Don't just hey.
Exactly.
And I think that's what happened with Russell Wilson. It was just Peyton Manning screaming at him, and instead of being humility driven with Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson handled it like a pro in the public. He was getting
Oh, yeah.
fired, and he had to answer for that. And I thought that was unfair of that whole situation. But I don't know how it went inside the locker room. And I think maybe
Right.
in Russell Wilson, he's probably thinking, "Hey, man, I'm a Super Bowl champ. Yeah, who the hell are you to come into my house, right? I got my own dressing room here."
Yep.
And he does have the most famous interception of all time. Like, let's not forget.
Yeah.
The most famous interception of all time.
You know what, man? If I was a quarterback, that was me. And I see from my sideline, they call this quick slant, and I'm on the 1 yard line on a first down, and I'm first and goal on the 1 yard line.
It was
And
second down. It was
second down, and I look at back and I see Marshawn Lynch, who's just been feasting.
I'm saying fuck that.
Like, for me personally, man, I'm like, no, right? Marshawn, you brought us here. You're getting the ball.
Exactly.
I'll get fired for it.
Yep.
You know what
We're
I
Super
mean?
Bowl
I didn't
champions, and
wanna
I'll take the fire.
And you know, maybe
And
that's
they
what
would
I've
have won.
heard.
If
Maybe
they
that's
scored
what
that touchdown, it was over.
it was. There was nothing left of it, right? And they scored. It was over. What was it, like 30 seconds left on the clock, or 25? Like, it was no time at all. They still had their timeouts too.
My
Are you
favorite
going to run
Super
that ball? You're telling me in 3 plays,
You can't get 1 yard.
Marshawn Lynch wouldn't have got 1 yard. That O-line, man, I would even QB'd sneak it.
Yep.
I'd be betting my mortgage.
Yeah,
on
Russell
that one.
Wilson. And I'm just like, you know, like they said, like, you listen to that defense on those NFL Network casts, and they're like, yeah, man, like, we knew that play was coming once they called it. We watched that all game film, and that's better coaching at that point, right?
Oh,
'Cause
100%.
they knew that play was coming. They caught it. Butler, amazing. But
He
and
made a
I think
career
that's
off that.
actually, I honestly, talking about disconnect with coaches, I think that's exactly what happened in New England. I think Robert Kraft, after
Tommy.
hearing about Tom Brady wasn't good enough for Belichick. I don't know if that's the case. Obviously, they'll both will never say, but obviously there was some animosity between the two, and Tom Brady actually had to leave. Whoever thought Tom Brady would leave the Patriots? So obviously, and it wasn't about money. Maybe it was, but he didn't
mean,
need the
He
money.
still went to 2 more Super Bowls.
Well, this is what I and so, like, I look at it. Obviously, there was a huge disconnect with Robert Kraft, and Robert Kraft came out and admitted it. So
Yep.
once you have any, and like, you could be good for 15, 20 years. Once it's bad, it's bad. It's over. Now you
Oh,
have
yeah.
to change it and get back to it, and it might take 3, 4 years. I think Vrabel was the best answer because now he's a Patriot and he knew the Patriot way.
Yeah.
But you gotta, and he honors Belichick and he honors Brady and honors the greats, right? And he was a great himself, right?
Yeah, he was hairy bastard.
Yeah, that guy was a beast, man. I
Well,
hated him.
From there, we're going to roll on in. We're going to go to our big guy spotlight. This is something we do every week. You know, we talk about a couple guys in the NFL. Lately, we've been talking about playoff guys. You know, we talk about linemen that excelling in the playoffs right now. They're doing a great job. First guy's going to be Colton McKivitz on the San Fran 49ers. Just to give you a little, you know, pop into what he's done this season. He's one of the most reliable offensive tackles in the league. Starting nearly every game, he obviously Niners finished 12-5, clutched a big playoff win against the Eagles in the NFC 6 seed. You look at the PFF data. He's got over 1,100 snaps this season, including 665 pass snaps, 451 run blocking snaps, and he has only had 3 sacks on the season, right? So you're rocking 665 for snaps, only allowing 3 sacks. That's pretty huge. You look at his playoff snaps. Obviously, it's only been 1 game so far, but they had 59 offensive snaps at right tackle. He gave up 0 penalties, 0 sacks, 0 hits. He allowed just 1 total pressure across 37 pass blocking reps and logged 22 run blocking snaps, holding up both phases without needing help or protection sides. You look at his advanced metrics. You want to look at all the stuff. He's ranked among top right tackles league-wide, with one report placing him 3rd among right tackles and 2nd best in his spot overall, which is huge. When you're talking right tackles, I mean, that's huge to be 2nd best in your spot. And now he's in the playoffs, obviously. He's kicking ass. You ask yourself why he matters more than ever this year. I mean, he signed a $45 million extension with the Niners in 2025, showing the franchise views him as a foundational piece in their offense long term. They went from winning despite McKivitz in prior seasons to now winning because of him. And that's a huge difference. You look at a guy where he's making the difference on an offensive line. He's allowing that run game to really develop and get so much better. You want to talk about his impact? I mean, that's huge. You look at the strength that it isn't just splash plays. It's consistent fundamentals. It's clean footwork. It's decisive hand placement. It's low penalty footprint and rarely being thrown off balance, which just leads the offense to stick to its identity on every single down, allow that run play to explode, allow those pass plays to then break off because of that run play. I mean, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, I thought going into it, obviously we know Trent Williams, that guy's Hall of Famer, first ballot. Probably, I would say top 5, top 3 tackles to ever play the game, right? And, there's some greats out there too. His swagger, his leadership's great, but this McKivitz, I thought their schedule wasn't the strongest schedule, right? So I'm kind of thinking, oh yeah, and I was that guy. I was Philly's going to feast.
Oh man,
Trent Williams is back. He's a little sore, but they got all these guys going on that end, and after they stop you for a half, right? After you can't rush on that guy, and he held up, man. That's a big stage. That's not an easy game in Philly. And this guy held on, and now which way do you go? I can't go to Trent Williams' side. Kivitz can't. So he's stopping everything. And like this, that's not going to be a fun game for any team trying to get to that team. Like this team is going to be relying a lot on that if Purdy can make the throw, which I believe he can. I think he's athletic. He's looking good, man.
But he had a great game.
He's spiraling.
The utilization of McCaffrey is spontaneous, but it's all due to that O-line, man.
Oh, yeah. You don't get to have McCaffrey doing what he's doing if that O-line's not making those blocks. That's what it comes down to.
That guy's a beast. Like, McCaffrey is an absolute terror, man. Every game he is throwing points and yards after catch, and then all of a sudden you see him catch this little sweep to the outside off a little dump. Who's out there? The tackles are out blocking for him.
Oh yeah,
right.
And like McCaffrey's quick, and all of a sudden you got tackles and guards out in the middle of the field. Good luck, man. Like, imagine that guy hitting you and Trent Williams hitting you, and they're 15 yards downfield. It's a cheat code. It's like watching Todd Gurley play.
Yeah, and the smiles on their face, knowing they're going to eat some lunch here. They're loving it.
Oh, they're hungry. They come out with the beatbox, man, and they're jacked. But that Kivitz, man, like I said, I thought they had a relatively easier schedule. I might get debated on it a bit, but you face Arizona, and or like their own division. I don't know if their own division was that tough, right?
Well, I mean, Seahawks, LA, and them, like they're top 10 teams in the league.
Yeah, but like for like DNs, you know what I mean? Like they didn't have to face, and besides like of anybody, I don't know any D end that could give them a really good push off those guys. And Seattle's probably has the best, but. Man, Philly has dogs.
Oh, yeah.
He stopped them all.
He stopped them.
Well, there's always Houston.
Getting Kobe Dean and Nolan Smith's number, they couldn't do nothing.
Yeah.
All right, next we got up, I believe it's Joe Thuney from the Chicago Bears.
Funny, I think it is.
Is it funny?
What is he, a 4-time Pro Bowler?
Right? I think he's also a 4-time Super Bowl champion.
4-time Super Bowl champion. Did he?
So this guy
win with New England?
No, with the
he won with
Chiefs.
the Kansas
It
City
was
Chiefs.
just with the Chiefs.
Yeah, 4 with
Right,
the
so-
Chiefs.
So you think, well, he doesn't have 4 with the Chiefs because the Chiefs only have 3, but
Yeah, I thought he won one with, was it New England?
Was it
And
New
then
England
with
then,
the
maybe?
Chiefs?
Sorry.
yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a 4-timer, eh?
With Thunny, anchoring that interior. He's got some passion up front. He's dramatic. He likes to just absolutely take after it. I mean, he's got 4 Super Bowls, for Pete's sakes.
Oh, man.
PFF and analytic performance. Thuney was an elite pass blocker with 88.6 this season, ranking him among all of the best guards in the league, probably top 10, maybe top 3. His run blocking grade was 71 overall, which puts him ahead of many, many good interior linemen in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He also grades in the top 10 league-wide as a run blocker rate for interior linemen, demonstrating his ability to sustain blocks all day long. And let's be honest, the Bears are good because they spent the money on the big boys. Let's be honest.
They got him.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a focus.
Well,
point.
we talked about this earlier part of the podcast, in the preseason before the season actually started, where we were talking about if they bring in a couple of veterans, they drafted that young guy in there, and that was going to be the difference maker. If they could really work it out and have that offensive line work, they were going to be successful.
Well, it really helps Caleb Williams can throw that ball.
Oh yeah,
It takes a little bit of pressure off that O-line.
Right.
But that guy reminds me of when, just not too long ago, when Kelsey, obviously he was one of the best linemen I've ever seen, but the heart of that Philly line, right? Like Lane Johnson, just as good, right? But Kelsey was like the voice almost.
100% he was.
The guy that was
brought everybody together.
Really focused on him, especially in the media, just because he was, how can you not?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and Coach Stoutland's a great offensive line coach. He took a guy like in Mariota, for example, that never played football in a day in his life and made that dude an all-pro tackle. That's not something that happens every day.
And you bring in a guy that's been there over and over. And you looked at Mahomes this year, not having him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was unreplaceable. Like, that guy was running for his life. He actually was taken out for the rest of the year.
Well, in the playoffs, he's played 78 snaps, most of any guard in the playoffs, with 0 penalties, 0 sacks allowed. 55 of those were passing reps. So, I mean, he is getting chased down the entire game. All 78 snaps at left guard, which shows the trust the Bears have in him to just anchor down that side.
Well, and look at the rush yards, Swift and Mononga.
Oh, yeah.
Like, those guys are dogs. And they're running the gut, man. That push, like the pulling. Hey, that Tooney's fast, man. He's good at pulling.
Chicago's offensive line has consistently fixed, and they have significant fewer sacks compared to the last season. Like last season,
their trench battles were. Yeah.
Like he
both
was
sides
getting
too.
hit
The whole trench.
every second play.
Yeah. That's a scary team to play, man.
You never really know what they're going to do. That's the hard part. You never know what's going to happen.
This year he earned All-Pro honors this year, so I mean, like, hats off to him. I'm sure he's been there before. He got 4 Super Bowls. Career in playoffs. I mean, the guy is just bred. He's ready to go. Over his NFL career, he's started 21 playoff games and has 4 Super Bowl rings.
I did look it up quick, by the way. It's 2 on the Patriots, 2 on the Chiefs.
That's what I thought. I thought he won with the Patriots. Like, it was crazy, man. And he was a mainstay, right?
The guy is
this guy's a champion, man.
Oh, he's a true leader. Discipline is what he eats for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Just an elite technical guard, top pass blocker in the league. Right?
0 flags, right?
Literally, he never allows a sack. 0 flags.
Yeah, like the guy's cleaner.
Yep.
He better have got a good Christmas present. That's all I know.
Well, he better have got a side by side at least, eh?
Well, he didn't allow a sack all season. Like, that's unreal.
Yeah. Well,
as an interior guy, that's crazy.
Oh man, like it's so cool to see. But even when you see him with his helmet off, and he's just grinding out a game, he even looks like a dog, man. He just looks like a killer, man. Like,
big noggin.
Some guys you just look at and you're like, that guy balled out that game. Just by the look of that guy, he balled out. And chest is like all ripped up, but man, like not a flag. Like,
it's unreal
and clean, like, and you're watching the guy. He's not doing anything bad. He's just making the right play, the right bump. He went and moved up to the right guy to hit the next next level of the defense. Like just that small little bump gave Swift that extra 3 yards.
Totally.
Like he's a champion, man. The guy's a first time ballot Hall of Famer. It's undoubtable now. And look what he's done with his team.
Right.
So we'll roll into the next segment here. We do this all the time as well too. We got the flag on the play. And Justin, I don't know if you're familiar with the flag on the play, but basically this is something where we talk about where we want to talk about stuff that happens in the league, a little bit of things that we're angry with that we just think is a little bit offside. We think he deserves a little 15-yard penalty. And so first one I got today is going to be, and it's something I seen on the clips today, and I had to throw it in here because it growled me up. You could just tell the way he was talking. It just didn't sit right with me. And it's Baltimore Ravens owner saying that players don't have power. He was on the interview at the press conference. And they're asking him, like, what does Lamar have with getting this new head coach coming in? And he's like, well, Lamar has say. He doesn't have any power. I have the power. I get to control what happens. The players don't have the power. I have the power. And it got me thinking, you sign a guy to a guaranteed contract. He's something where you give him guaranteed money, and you're going to say that guy has no power on who your head coach is going to be? If he wants to sit out, maybe he doesn't want to practice this week, maybe he doesn't want to do anything now because the guy you hired, does that mean he has no power? Right. To me, that's a problem.
Like some guys just like to, these rich owners, man.
That's what I mean, right?
They're not ever said no to.
No.
Ever. Right? So, like some young kid that I'm going to pay, hey, man, I'm paying you $40 million. Okay? You ain't paying me. I'm paying you. And, and the bold truth of it is he's right in a sense where if you don't like it, I'm just going to get another one of you.
Right.
But when you give somebody guaranteed money, you can't do that because look at the Deshaun Watson situation, right?
Oh, but anybody will trade for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, but you're still stuck on the hook for a certain amount of cash. Look how much the Texans were still paying them the last few years.
But I bet they take the full paycheck on it now. Especially if you're Arizona. I can see that. But like that's just something. Do you really need to say that?
Right.
Yeah, we know you're the boss. Everyone knows it. If it's your call, right? Now, players, I agree with what he's saying. Players don't have the say who run this. They don't control the team, but they should have. You need help to win.
Like the way I look at it is, you're fired your coach after all that time. The smartest thing you can do, you have a franchise quarterback. Is I'm not saying he has to make the call, but you want him in the room. You want him in the room during the meeting and saying like, "Hey, this is who we're thinking about hiring. How about you come sit in this room and you get a feeling on how this guy is, and we'll take your opinion. We're not saying we're going to take it fully, but we'll take your opinion on what happens from this point out, just to make sure you guys mesh and we can win a Super Bowl here. Because that should be the ultimate goal, no matter what, is to try and win a Super Bowl. So if you know that the head coach and the quarterback aren't going to mesh properly, what are you doing?
Right.
Oh, we talked about that before earlier. It's disconnect with your coaches and your players, right? Once you have that, this can start it. I know as a man and as Lamar Jackson and as this team, they should say, guys, just let him talk. Let him do his thing. He's the owner. He's paying us. Let's just let him do his thing. It should never affect of what we got going on here. Now, that's what should happen. But it doesn't always happen that way.
No.
I know for me, if I'm young, I know if I'm young too, and I know what I bring to the table. I'm a 2-time MVP player, and I got that, and say it didn't go well for me, and me and him had a really bad conversation just before the firing, and it's a little hot right now, right? And I'm Lamar Jackson. I'm very pissed off at the season. Everything was emotional, and I'm not saying this is the case, but say it does, and then you hear that comment. What are you doing at home stewing by yourself now? Exactly. After you just had this fight with this guy, you already don't like this cockiness because he's cocky, he's present, right? He's in there, he's laughing about Tomlin, he's laughing about everybody, and, making offhanded remarks to Harbaugh that really is the only reason he's relevant. He would have lasted one more week. No, man, this guy deserves more.
Yeah. Coach for you for 19 seasons.
The reason why
it's ridiculous.
Reason why you're so loaded from the football end of things. I don't know what he does on his business side of it, but Harbaugh brought him to multiple Super Bowls, Super Bowls, right? And so you look at him, and that guy deserves more. People do deserve more.
Well, I
right?
mean, honestly, he had to go against Tom Brady for 20. The whole time he was there.
Yeah.
The entire whole time he was there, he had to play against Tom Brady.
Oh, you're going, and then you had to play the Steelers twice.
Right.
Yep.
Like,
It's not easy, Phil. Like that's a fight.
That wasn't fun.
No.
Like, those weren't fun. And at that time, Cincinnati wasn't. They were a good defense. Browns were a good defense. Those two have always kind of been near the bottom end of it since Burrows or till Burrows. But you had to face Pittsburgh twice, and you had to face the boys and the Chargers back then were a devastating team.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So you had to go through them too.
Palmer was good. Palmer was good till he blew out his knee.
Yeah, he was. It was always a fight. Even Dalton had a couple good years in there, but yeah, no, huge disconnect, huge flag. It's true. You're right. You're rich. It's your team. It's all great.
But I'll tell you what. To me, it's a 15-yard penalty. That's conduct detrimental to the team. Power without that respect leads to the disconnect. And the best organizations, they empower players while maintaining structure.
Yeah.
The culture, it's built from the locker room. It's built outward. It's not in the owner's box. It's not a guy who's never getting hit in practice, not knowing what it actually feels like. It's the guys that are on the ground fighting that are actually making that difference for the team. So like I said, you might own the team, but the locker room, it decides where you win. And that's what it comes down to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, segment number 2 here, flag on the play. What is with the officials calling holding when they want to and missing it when they don't? Like, one play is just standing out for me in my brain right now. Philly's driving, and they weren't great on offense on Sunday. Like, they were mediocre.
It was pretty sad.
They were driving. They had something good going. And Trent Williams comes through, gets roasted inside, and literally grabs Buddy from the back of his
Nolan Smith. He just grabbed him like
turn around.
You're talking about on like the third last play of the game, right?
I'm talking about where the 49ers drove down. 49ers drove down, scored a touchdown, and on that touchdown play, I'll put the screenshot up so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Is that he's grabbing him like this and he's pulling back as no one's trying to get that sack on Purdy and they score a touchdown. And it's I get it. Like I said, I understand. There's holding on every play. I get it. I completely understand it, but on a touchdown scoring play, you're not going to call that? Like, you miss here and there, but how do you miss a guy physically grabbing another grown man like that? A whole body turn to the end zone.
And it's an outside. Yeah. He's the farthest outside guy at the line of scrimmage at that time. Like no one's watching.
Well, how many times have we seen missed flags on a tackle?
Oh, yeah.
It is nonstop. No, there's some good actors out there.
100%.
There's some really. It's not an easy thing to call. I see where you're at. It's not an easy thing to call, and guys like Trent Williams kind of earn that.
I get it. And it allows the fewer flags. They keep it flowing a little better. Edge rushers still have to win with that technique, but at the end of the day, as an Eagles fan, man, does it make me mad. And we get it too on both sides because there was other penalties that didn't get called on our side too, and I get it. But I hate it when I see it happen against us.
Some of those penalties are game changers.
Oh, that would have been one. That was the game. Like in my opinion, that's made such a difference.
You go to the Pittsburgh game, and fucking Rodgers gets clubbed right across the head. Just landed on
the fumble, and there was a touchdown off it. How do you hit a guy in the head that obvious?
And exactly. Again, that could have changed the trajectory of the whole game.
Well, they were on that touchdown drive, and it would have been right within that one score, and who knows?
Yeah, well, that made the difference, right? That was the second touchdown of the game for the Texans, and that made the whole difference. The flow happened after, like Pittsburgh started really quitting after that point because you see just the flow was how it was going.
They knew, right?
And seeing some flags in that secondary, there's no flags.
No.
And then all of a sudden, there's a flag at the end of the game. And it's like, those guys have been battling all game. Like, if you want to call off the hop, you want to call right off the hop, hey, man, we're keeping it tight. Okay. President set. Right? But then when you let boys battle out all game, and then you throw that flag at that crucial moment, and it was just a hand battle. I thought the best thing the refs did all week was not calling passing interference plays. I thought they let receivers and DBs battle.
They let them play. Oh yeah, both sides in all the games they let them play. It was cool to see.
Yeah, well, it's just like
it's like, like, well, it's the playoffs. Why does it matter the most? One shitty play or one non-call, it can cost you the Super Bowl. It could literally take, a defensive lineman has now lost faith in the rest of the game. I don't want to play anymore.
Well, what am I supposed to do? We might as well not even blitz.
Exactly.
I'm just getting held.
Yep.
Right? Like it's, I know what you're saying, Rob. You see some of those calls. TJ Watt had 1 sack in 7 playoff games. Right. But the thing is, he's getting held so bad.
And just nothing.
How do you stop him every play? Well, you have to hold him. That's the reality of it. It's like I don't like bringing hockey or other sports into it, but you could call a penalty on McDavid every play.
Oh yeah.
The guy's just too fast. He's just getting held, right? Same thing with like a TJ Watt or Miles Garrett. These guys are just too good. Crosby's too good. What is a tackle supposed to do?
Yep.
Right.
So in the end, try to keep it as clean as he can. But that's why you pay these guys $40 million. They want to see these guys get these sacks. You want to see Philly get those sacks. That's what they were built on. You let it go all year in the preseason. Like you called that flag in the normal season. Now where it counted, no. That's Trent Williams.
Missed holding isn't about letting the play go on. It's not about any of that stuff. It's about picking who gets punished. Sometimes in the NFL, and that's a real kick in the pants sometimes when you see your team lose by just the worst call out there, and you've now been deflated. Like, I'm done with the NFL. I'm done with the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, the LA Raiders. How many series of times you could be done with them?
How can we call a penalty on Trent Williams?
Right.
No, let's punish the other player by not letting him get a sack and ruining his money. Trent Williams already got paid, man. Like, call the game, right? Even though Trent Williams played good all game, but there was some questionable calls.
Oh, yeah.
So like I said, at the end of the day, like Rob said as well too, flag on the play, 15 yards, just complete ref bullshit. We talk about the refs back to back to back the last few weeks, and I just want to see consistency. We're at that point where it's not about complaining, it's about accountability from the owners, from officials, from the league, and that's really what it comes down to, is just plain accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to roll into the real fun part of the podcast here. It's matchup mayhem. It's talking about the teams that are playing off right now. Let's talk about it. Let's see who's in, who's out, and what we think the scores are going to be like. So first game we got is obviously Buffalo Bills versus the Denver Broncos. What do we think?
You go first, Robbie.
Okay, I'll take this one. You know that I'm a Josh Allen guy, so I'm obviously picking Josh Allen, and I definitely don't want to see the Broncos win.
No.
But I tell you, if Josh Allen can't force that ball down there, throw deep, they're not going to win the game, because that defensive front they have up front it's tough. It's really tough. I think it's going to be a close game. I think this one's going to come down to a nilly-willy, like a 23-18 or a 23-17 game for the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, Bills win this game. I just can't see Josh Allen losing to Bo Nix. No, I think it's going to be a close one, just like that Jacksonville game. The Jacksonville team's dogs, by the way. But I think it'll be close. But you put Josh Allen in that position, and he has nobody left to go through. All his kryptonite's gone. Like, the defense is honestly good, and you have to go to Denver. Like, you want to go to the Super Bowl, you have to go through Denver. That's not fun altitude to play in. That's hard on your lungs. It's hard on your body. These guys are adapted to it. They've been staying there now. They're all accustomed to it. You got to go there in that climate. That's tough. But I think it's closer than we think. I think it comes down to maybe that kick. Obviously, the last minute drives sounds a little cliche, but I think Bills come out on top at 27-24.
Yeah.
I'd like to stay around there.
Right, and I look at it the same way. I think Josh Allen, 2 minutes left in the game. He's driving on the field. He's going to score that walk-off touchdown to win the game. I don't see the NFL letting it happen where it's going to be like the Broncos all season long. Field goal to win, tight game. Field goal to win, tight game. It's not going to be playoff football. You're going to see it's going to be a very tight game. They're going to be up by a field goal. Going into the fourth, 2 minutes left. Josh Allen rips down, score the touchdown, walk-off win up by 6 points. Right? It's going to be something around the lines of, a 17, 20, what would that be, 17-24, 17-26 kind of game, it's where it's going to land. It's going to land to the point where Bills are going to get a field goal, a couple touchdowns, and then that last touchdown drive to walk off in the end zone, go to the AFC Championship, and that's where it's going to land. I don't see the Broncos winning after. In my opinion, they are the worst number 1 seed of all time.
Well, look at that schedule.
Weakest
schedule ever.
Right.
They got so lucky. Yeah.
Well, the Patriots had the
Jacksonville.
Ever. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, they're right there.
Oh, right there.
They're right there. Their hardest games were against Buffalo. But you look at it, man. That Jacksonville team beat up on Denver.
Oh yeah. And Jacksonville is a good team, man. People like to shit on them because it's Jacksonville and they haven't historically been good. But I'll tell you, Trevor Lawrence is really, him and Etienne, they're really doing something special there. They got something happening and they're working hard.
Yeah, but yeah, I just think after seeing Jacksonville just dismantle them, I think they finally faced a dog, right?
Yep.
And I think once you face that guy, you're facing Josh Allen here. You can't mess up.
You can't make those mistakes. Rob, we lost you on camera, by the way.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties.
Technicals. Yeah, mine comes in and out.
There we go. We'll keep it AFC for the next game as well, too. Then we'll roll into the NFC. But next game, and I'll tell you who I got. We got Houston Texans, New England Patriots. And for me, I've been a huge Houston Texans rider this season ever since that Bills game. That was, to me, the total difference. It's been about 8 weeks now since that game's happened when I got to see it. And I want to say they sacked Josh Allen 8 times that game. It was one of those games where you've seen the front four of that defensive line just be absolutely electric. For being a team that sends, I think they're top, like I said this last week too, but they're bottom 30 for sending blitzes, but still having such good quarterback pressure. There was times last game where you watched them last week there where they had blitzed, not blitzed, but they'd sent 3 guys. They dropped their D tackle back into coverage and still were making successful stops out of that defense. They were still pressuring Aaron Rodgers in there. It was absolutely wild. That D-line's unreal. I'm taking Texans by at least a touchdown, possibly a 10-point spread. Texans are winning this game, going to the AFC Championship.
I just think that the Texans are just going to expose Bo Nix. Not Bo Nix.
Drake May.
And the serious fact about that is that when you're only sending 4 and you only blitz 10% of all snaps accounted for during the season, that allows you to have 2 good linebackers flowing downhill and 5 DBs playing the back coverage. Now, when you can have 5 DBs, buddy, it's like watching the Seahawks from 2013. Like, they were just disgusting. And this team has amplified that. But as I said, like you were talking, like that D-line is just nasty.
Unreal. I don't know who he is, but number 5 on the Texans, he plays like their nickel back kind of position. That dude made the difference in that game as well. There was 2 separate plays I watched where he's backpedaling. He sees that little swing screen to that running back or to that receiver. He cuts his route, blows up DK Metcalf, and makes a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. It was just, I think he finished the game with the most tackles for the Texans. Like, it was absolutely electric.
All right, I'm gonna call my score with 1 missed PAT. I'm gonna call it 26-29. Yeah,
Texans.
The Texans. I really think that the Texans are going to keep them off the scoreboard until halftime, and then you're going to see a miraculous comeback from the Patriots. But I think that Patriots are going to miss that extra point or maybe 2. Something crazy is going to happen, and they're going to get 26 points, maybe a couple touchdowns, a bunch of field goals. I'm not sure.
What are you thinking, Justin?
I got to go with the narrative, boys. I got to see Josh Allen face Patriots. I got to see that.
I don't know.
The 3. Listen, playoffs and Boston is it's a hostile environment.
Oh, 100%.
Now they won in Pittsburgh. That's just as bad. Now, like AB said, Houston's battle tested, but the play from Stroud has been so bad.
It's been bad, but their defense just holds them in, man. Their defense is so
get
good.
It, but at some point, it can't hold you. It you ain't going to see this. Like, you're going to face a way better offense than the Steelers.
Oh, well, for sure.
Like, you're going to be seeing Diggs at his best. The team came out unscathed. Stevenson, that Henderson, that whole running back group is brutal. Now, it's hard to run on that team, and that's kind of what New England's man, and they haven't been playing that great. Good enough to win, but their defense looked good against a mediocre Chargers team. But I think Vrabel will have him ready. He's been in that postseason a lot as a player, and I think he knows what it'll take to win that just by preparation mode. And as much as I love to see Houston move on, because I think they're that underdog story we're all rooting for, I just cannot see Stroud putting up enough numbers. I think Stroud has another 2 picks and he has another fumble, and I just think it's not. I just think Drake May, that kicker, Borregales, it'll be like a Vinatieri move, and they end up kicking to win it, and 24-21. Actually, no,
I like it.
I'm going to go 21-17.
I like it. I like it.
I like it.
Yep, I respect it.
And let's be honest, what's the NFL going to push? They're going to push the narrative. So, you might see the Patriots walk away with this one.
Yeah, they want to see that rematch, especially in New England there. I think it'd be a big Josh Allen moment.
For sure. See, personally, this is my belief, but I think that you're going to see Texans make the Super Bowl just to lose. I really do.
Well, the defensive team usually always loses. Usually.
But rolling into it. We got San Fran, we got Seattle.
Whoa.
We got 2 very hot offenses. One's coming off a huge win. One's coming off a win where they lost their tight end, and that's a killer. You have a lot of guys that are injured. You have a lot of guys down. Personally, I think Seattle's going to rock this pass game. I think they're going to be hucking the ball down deep. I think it's going to be you seen it last time when they played right at the end of the regular season. I think it was 13-6. It was a tight game. This one's going to be a little more of a barn burner. This one's going to be, now they know on both sides of the field what the defenses can do, and you're going to see a little more offensive play come out of it. You're going to see those guys explode a little bit more. And you're going to see I think you're going to see a 24-21 Seattle win.
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, let's be honest. The Seahawks absolutely beat the brakes off them 2 weeks ago. It was an absolute. I mean, what did they get? 3 points on offense? Yeah. All the Niners could muster up. I mean, they didn't have their tight end either at that point as well, but all they could muster up was 3 points.
Not going to get a tight end now for this one either.
No, they got their fullback playing tight. Juszczyk. He's out there,
he
did a great job against the Eagles, though.
That Tongas too is pretty good. I think he's not a bad replacement. I cannot see. This is a tough one for me. This is right there, last possession, but Seattle wins it.
Oh yeah.
I just think playing in Seattle with that 12th man, that place is not. They beat records.
It's
right?
loud.
So you're Purdy. You're trying to get that quick offensive play in against a defense that swarms. Like, we're talking about Houston Texan defense over there, boy. Those boys ball out. Now they do have the one factor that I think we all know about. They got Sam Darnold over there.
Yep.
Now he's played amazing. I don't take that away from him. You dogged it, man. You're number one in a tough conference, right?
Oh yeah.
But we've seen Sam Darnold do some stupid stuff.
Oh, 100%.
On a lot of teams. On a
lot of different teams, a lot of big moments. But the only reason I think he'll become okay as long as they give 15 passes to Smith and Jigba. I don't think the defense is good enough to get enough pressure on Darnold. No, I think that was the biggest problem. I think if you could get to Darnold and really make him quick,
without Bosa, it's really tough for them, right?
Yeah, like Purdy's a little bit better with his legs, I believe. Like, even though Darnold could get out there and get a run in there, I just think Purdy's a little bit more agile. I just think there's a lot of pressure on Seattle to win this game, but I think they do. But I think it's tight.
It's going to be tight.
I don't think so.
And Myers is an amazing kicker.
Oh yeah,
and I think we're going to see something like let's go 17. Let's go 17-16.
That's
tight. That's tight.
I'm gonna flip it the other way though. Again, I don't see too much changing in 2 weeks. I'm gonna go with like a 35-16 for the Seahawks.
I think she's a
I
blowout.
think it's a blowout. Okay.
I think they're going to get a pick six. You know what I mean? I think they're, it's going to be a tight first quarter, and then sudden halftime is going to show around. The Niners are going to be down, and then they're going to come back out and absolutely do nothing. They're just going to absolutely stifle.
That's fair. I get it. I get it.
What's the bold game of the week?
Then we got, and this is my opinion, like you just said, this is the game of the week. This is the big one. We've got Rams, Bears. This is a game that could go either way. I really think, like we've talked about it all day, the Bears offensive line, the Bears team is just really pushing right now. Their defense is unreal. But again, I think Stafford pulls it out. I think Stafford pulls out a 2 minutes and less touchdown at the end to win it. I think he's got the arm, he's got the talent, he's got the receivers, either Nakua or you got Adams out there. I mean, Adams is their end zone threat. I mean, he's the guy that you throw that fade route to, and he's coming down with it over the shoulder boulder holder. He's coming right down with that ball. And I think they take it. I think that you're going to see Rams, Bears. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be Rams up heavy, Bears coming back in the second half, Rams walk-off touchdown for the win, and you're going to see a 28-24 kind of game.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's sorry, you go ahead.
I can't see Stafford losing with Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams.
Right?
I look at it. Chicago had no business beating Packers. They had no business. I don't know how you're winning 21-3 at the half and receive the ball and you don't run the ball.
I don't get it. Yeah, and you know what happened with that game is everything changed right after that lineman screen pass they had. Packers thought they were up in that game and ran that little lineman screen fumble, and it fumbled. They somehow got the ball back out of that, but I just think that itself changed the whole dynamic of the game.
I just think he has such a good coach in Sean McVay. He's going to manage that clock. They're going to take big shots, and I just think it's too much for them to come back on. And I think the Bears have a great defense. I think they're good, but and I know it's going to be in Soldier Field. I know it's going to be cold and all that stuff. But this Puka Nakua, man, is the best wide receiver I think I have ever seen personally, like in remembering watching football that I've ever seen. No, there's some great guy.
He's a tight end playing wide receiver. Like
he rips your heart out. Like when I seen that play last week when the ball was going to get intercepted and he turned into a DB last second in the end zone and deflected it.
You're good.
I just think that was an unbelievable heads up play.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like you turned yourself into a DB, split decision, knocked the ball out. That was a big game changer. Like if they didn't do that, they might lose to Carolina.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just think this team, now we had a week with Devontae back. He's healthy. Got a rust out of his system. Kyrene Williams looked good.
Oh, yeah.
In the defense, they're decent, right? They ain't going to allow too much going on. But I just think Sean McVay's too good of a coach. I think I'll go 34-18.
Ooh, blowout. I like it.
I think they blow them out. I think it's a tough loss this one.
I think Ben Johnson's too hungry. He's coming off of what he's done with that team, and it's going to be a tight game. I still think the Lions are going to, I still think that the Rams are going to win. Excuse me, but I see this one tight. It's going to be a barn burner. She's going to be a big score. Going to go over 60 points, maybe 65. It's going to be a field goal. It's going to be 33-30 or 33-29, something like that. It's going to be and I think the same thing Preston said, walk off, but I think it's going to be a walk off pressure field goal.
Missed field goal at the end, yeah.
I think Rams are going to take it, but yeah.
Yeah, how many times have we seen missed field goal from Chicago that broke their heart,
right?
It might happen again, who knows, right?
Hey, every 20 years they go to the Super Bowl, so who knows?
Every time there's a Pope. I thought I seen a thing on social media. They said every time a new pope was elected or whatever, the Seahawks have went to the Super Bowl.
That's true.
And so this is the year a new one got elected, right? So who knows? Maybe they're running NFL. Who knows?
So, we talk about the teams, we talk about it all, but obviously, like I said at the beginning of this, we got a guest on the podcast today. Justin's been giving great input today. But all you guys don't know, he's actually a former teammate of Robbie's. They played high school together. They played on the Okanagan Suns together. They played that high level football. And so, a couple questions that I wanted to ask you, and just nothing too crazy. We're not going to try and overload you with questions, but since you've started playing football, what are the biggest changes you've seen in the game today?
I think there's more offense. I think everything's geared more offensively. I don't think that there's as much emphasis on defense as there was. I think more things are geared for. Obviously, the rules are geared for it. But I always remember watching football and playing football like low, especially in these later months, low scoring, brutal games. I remember watching Rob go against Whitecourt, and Halverson would just make this move, and it was low scoring, but it was crazy, right? Like but it was defense and smashing and trench football. I just think it's a lot more run and gun now, a little bit more loose.
For sure. I get that 100%. Even since I've played, I've seen the difference. That's only 10-year difference. Is seeing, the fact that crackbacks, and this is just at the high school level too, but crackbacks aren't allowed. Those chip blocks aren't allowed. You can barely shot block anymore. If you even touch that knee, you are just it's a 15-yarder. It's unnecessary roughness. It just changes everything about football, and that physicality's gone, and it just changes the whole identity of football. It's starting to get closer to that flag football where it's a 7-on-7 where you just see those big catches come up or those big runs, but those huge hits you used to see, the Sean Taylors, those big hits that used to be in the NFL, just aren't a thing anymore.
Yeah, they're not there.
Unless you play for the Steelers.
Get kicked out of a college game for a big hit like that.
100%. They'll call it targeting. They really will.
Yeah. So,
now,
that's a big change.
Again, going into it, do you think any of these changes have helped grow the game of football at all?
I think I think what happens, I think it's dirtier. I honestly think, like we see a ton of injuries, but there was a code. There's almost like a code, right? Like it was bang, bang, bang. You never were out there to hurt.
No.
But I think now there's just a little bit more clipping. You're more clever. There's more like fake, like picking players, and you're doing it kind of in a dirty way, right? And so that's what I would say about that part. I just think it's a little bit dirtier. You get away a little bit more, and instead of just straight up physicality.
Well, it goes both ways. Like, I always like to think back when I was playing. I played a lot of center. I played a lot of inside the line. You never got a lot of calls as a center. The refs can't see what's going on in between that pile, and you can kind of get away with a little more hands to the face. You can get away with a little bit more holding because you don't get all that attention like a tackle or a guard does. And it makes a bit of a difference, in my opinion. You see it on the high level. You see it on the lower level, even in bantam and high school. You see that difference in football, and so that kind of rolls into my next.
Now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And as a coach, I don't want to see that happen. Obviously, I want to coach a clean game. I want to see it happen, but you can't see everything. You can't make all your players do exactly what you want to do. You can't make sure that it stays as safe as possible. And so,
this is this part. You got to get every edge you can, right?
Always. Like I was the big guy, but I was the shorter guy, right? I was the undersized and height side kind of guy, and so I had to use that skill and that size that I had, that width that I had to try and make that difference. I seen a linebacker coming in. I know there's not a chance I'm just going to head up block him cleanly. I got to do something a little different. I got to get my body in front of him. I got to hit that little cut block. I got to do what I got to do, and that's what it came down to. And so,
or something here strategically and let him trip on me a little bit. Right?
A little bit of something, a little bit, fall back. Exactly. And so, that rolls into my next one for you is. What's something that, and again, like I said, you played the high level football, you played that junior level. What's something that stayed the same no matter what level you played at? What's something that just stayed the same for sure?
I think, honestly, heart of the trenches. Like when I talk about things that have changed, I'm talking about wide receiver play and DB play. One thing that remained the same is that, your leaders are your linemen. And you see it still to this NFL. If you got linemen, these are big boys, man. Bro, what are you, 6'7"? Like these guys are big, right? And so as guys are 6 feet, 6'2", they look up to these guys, right? And you see guys like Trent Williams walking out with the boombox. That team's following him.
Oh yeah.
And when I was growing up, I looked at guys like Dustin Obsassin and Robbie and Dustin Eady and a lot of really good guys. I had a lot of heart, and you could see them just paying the price over and over, and they're still arms are in the air screaming, right? Like Cam Hayward style, right? And I think defensively, like I said, I didn't do much offense, but defensively, what I've seen is the defense still. If you have a very vocal hearted D line, I think it really follows, and I think same with offense.
Oh man, 100%. Like me, the last 2 years on the high school, I've been coaching the D line. They're really working with those kids, and when you get that voice in the D line, you get a couple of those kids that will absolutely just die for that team. It makes the whole difference because they're setting the tone of that team. When they know they're going to rip through that offensive line, they're going to make that tackle, they're going to get in their face, they're going to do what they can do. It makes the whole difference in the defense because now those guys are following them into battle. They're going, hey, if my D line's doing this, shit, now I can drop into. I don't have to stress about as much as that run now. I can drop into coverage better. I don't have to worry about that as much because if I do my job properly, I know they're doing their job properly. It changes everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
100%.
And now this is the last question I got for you, and we're gonna roll into the next segment. But I think it's an important one. So I know, like obviously, I still coach. I know Robbie coached for a lot of years, but to you, Justin, if you were coaching today, what's one thing that you would emphasize the most over everything else?
One thing I would emphasize. It was one of the best things I ever seen. Tom Brady had a clinic with a bunch of coaches that coming up in the draft, and he was talking about having the mentality of every day was the Super Bowl. Every practice that day, you were playing the Super Bowl, so every day was so important, right? And you talk, and I did it myself, man. I'm like, man, it's Friday. We don't got a game till tomorrow. It's a walkthrough. I'm a starter here. I'm going to laugh a little bit. We're going to have fun with the rookie. And I think it's fun to have a little bit of camaraderie.
Oh, yeah.
But in a sense, I look back at it, would have been more beneficial if I was making the guys accountable and owning that practice and say, hey, man, like, I don't care that we're playing, like, play this game right. Like, we're all dying for it. And if you don't like it, you got to put out, man. There's a lot of kids that aren't getting the opportunity like you are. So own that, and show it to him what it took to get that, right? So like a big thing for me, what I look at and what I would have did differently is I wish I would have took the whole week and really went for it instead of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. You know what I mean? Thursday, Fridays, it was very lax. And I think they have lax practice on Friday so no one gets hurt. But I think you need to still bring it, even if you're not padded up. I think you still need to bring some intensity. And if you don't do that and you don't play every game tight, I just think you end up losing in the big moment. No matter how your team is, I think you just
I've seen it on both sides of that, man, where you have those teams where they're bringing it every single game, every single practice, and there's other guys where they just, they want to mess around. They don't want to do what's important to the team. They're a little more detrimental. They want to have that fun. And even as a coach, sometimes I get lost in it where I have a little bit too much fun and I'm not really, dialed into that. It makes the big difference. You look at the level where you're trying to play ball and all of a sudden it just doesn't work. And you sit back and you think, if I had worked a little bit harder in practice this week, would it have made a difference? If I had just dialed in just a little harder and listened to what the coach was saying, would it have made that big difference?
Yeah, maybe if I watched that film a little bit more, right?
Yep.
I would have seen that play, especially if you're a play caller, right?
100%. So I appreciate the answer on the questions. I put you on the spot a little bit there. I just wanted to, write off a couple there for you and just, get your mindset in, get what's going on in your head as well too. So I appreciate that. Yeah. And it's something awesome. we're gonna roll in the next stage here is Legends Talk, and we talk about this every week. We always talk about a guy that's been unreal in the NFL career, someone who's just absolutely done it at the highest level. This week we're talking about Orlando Pace. This is a guy. It's just a gold standard for left tackle play. Changed how teams value lead offensive liner. You combine that rare size, that athleticism, that technique. And I don't know what else to say. I always look up great stories, things like that. And one of the ones I seen was when he was at Ohio State. He was so dominant that opposing teams would build entire game plans around this guy just to avoid him. Defensive coordinators would slide protections away from him. They'd have plays that were designed to blitz to the opposite side of him, and they'd still fail. that when he entered the NFL, he did the same thing to professionals, guys that were full-grown men. He wasn't just blocking defenders. He was absolutely erasing them. He was making it so they did not matter.
Well, he was tall, eh?
Oh,
He
monster.
had those big arms. He kind of reminds me almost like a Trent Williams in a sense. He had those big arms. You know,
just an absolute dog.
Did he just get into the Hall of Fame?
Oh yeah, he's he's an inductee.
In there for a while.
I think he was inducted in what's the year here? I don't think I have it written down, but I want to say it was 2010 or 11. Like he was, and he played for the Rams. Like he's an absolute monster. He's a Hall of Famer, multiple Pro Bowls, multiple All Pros, Super Bowl champion. He anchored the greatest show on turf. You don't have guys like that without Orlando Pace running the show. He was rarely beaten off a clean edge, and you ask yourself, why did the D line respect what he could do, and the O line even more? Perfect footwork. He had violent hands, and that's we talk about this all the time. Violent hands make the man. That's the biggest difference. Elite balance. He had just set the standard for modern pass protection. I mean, this guy was an absolute unit. You look what he did for the Rams and what he could constantly do for them, and have that protection for those guys. Man, it made the difference. It really did. Like you said, you don't have guys like Trent Williams. You don't have the Lane Johnsons. You don't have those guys without a guy like Orlando Pace setting that stage and understanding that this is what it takes to be that elite offensive lineman.
Yeah. So guys like that were the foundations of football, right? Football
hands down.
All about physicality, right? And to make the NFL, I think the biggest step we see, the higher we go up and who goes farther, are the killers, right?
Always.
The guys that are thirsty. I thought I was a killer until you move up a step and you realize,
like, holy shit,
I'm not that guy. I'm not that
guy. Tadpole in Shark Pond.
Yeah, and then and this is just a small end scale, right? And then you're getting even bigger. Like, man, these dudes, all these guys, like you see guys that are, 5'8", 180 pounds taking on these linemen. They don't care. Like, these guys are fearless. That's a guy that had a lot of physicality. And so when guys like that take fear out of these, put fear into these defensive ends at that stage of football where it was you play with broken arms and ankles and stuff like that, right? Like you played through all that. Like these are the reasons they played that way. That built the foundation of football, right?
And I mean, I felt the same way, man. I went from St. Joe's to being that high school level thinking I was the hot shit, thinking I could block anybody. I went to the Huskies and I was, holy shit. It's a different level, man. Those guys absolutely rang my bell. I had this one dude on the team. Got a little story here, I'll tell you what, but I mean, this guy, his name is Stefan, and I watched him middle of practice. This rookie had held his face mask. This guy was playing offensive line, grabbed him by the face mask. He clean grabbed this kid, punched him like this right up in the chin, sent this kid flying back 2 or 3 feet. He was out for the rest of the week. He was done. Like it was one of those times you're just like, holy shit, this is next level. This guy dies and lives for this sport.
It's the only way you could play football. You can't.
Yep.
You have to have full disregard. You got to be a killer. You got to just want to juke a guy so bad, stiff arm a guy, hit a guy, especially defensively and on the O line. You got to be just so strong and it's not just strength, but you just got to be a warrior. You just can't lose. Right?
No,
there's no lose.
You got to have that aggression and you got to have that mentality where you're not afraid of anything.
Anything. You're going against these boys. It doesn't matter. I'm better than him. I'm going to show that guy I'm better. I'm going to take his soul.
When I'm coaching my linemen, I teach them the simple thing, man. I don't care if they're bigger than you, taller than you, faster than you, or fatter than you. It does not matter. If you don't line up on that line of scrimmage every single play and think that I'm going to kick the shit out of that kid across from me, I don't want you on the field.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to.
You got to do whatever you can.
You have to.
And you know what, man? At the end of the day, if you gave it everything you had, you try to be that killer, man, you're still going to gain the respect from that guy.
Always.
Like no matter, it's crazy what your mind will tell you. And I think these guys just had a different mindset. Obviously, they're all pros. They knew the discipline. No, God gifted him a body of a God mammoth, but he was good with it. He was a killer, right?
He knew what to do. Now we're going to roll into Robbie's segment. This is one he always does every week. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right, guys, we got the good, the bad, and the ugly. This week's episode's focus on pressure, identity, and where the season can flip fast. First up, we got the good. So we got the Seattle Seahawks winning without needing of a spotlight. The story is that this year, right now on the West Coast, the Seattle Seahawks are getting overlooked. And they're fine with it, guys. Like, they know that they're mechanics, they're a machine. They got a weekly, could be different MVP every week on that team, on that offense. The defense is playing tough. They're playing disciplined football, guys. Why is that good year with this team? Because they didn't have that in the last couple seasons. You know what I mean? The Seahawks they've embraced winning this year. Haven't punted a lot.
Oh yeah.
Field position has been really good for them this year, and we're going to see what they can do in the end of January here. Like we talked about in the past, I think they're going to win. They're not chasing headlines. They're surviving the pressure and they're kicking ass.
Well, what defense right now in the NFC is going to stop that team?
Exactly.
They're the defense.
Yep.
And they got offense. What? I think the only people that have a chance maybe is the Rams, but they're going to have to. They're not going to beat them. Like, the defense is stout. That team's exciting, man.
Very exciting.
All right, next up we got the Los Angeles Rams. Okay, Matt Stafford, quiet resurgence. Like, let's be honest, this guy's been slinging it for almost 20 years in the NFL. Everyone keeps waiting for the Rams to fall apart, and Stafford keeps answering that with touchdowns, guys. Stafford's experience shows up when the game is at its tightest spot ever. He pulls out some crazy thing from his back pocket, maybe his triple back pocket. I don't know how he does it. He's not trying anything flashy. He's just trusting the guys that he has, leading them right down the field, and they're kicking butt. It feels less of a comeback story and more like a reminder, hey, guys, Matt Stafford is still great.
Yeah, with him, he's got his yards, he's got his touchdowns, but he's also had some couple bad games in this stretch.
Yes. Everyone's do that.
Everyone that has that go on, I'm kind of scared in that time. I don't like seeing trends like that going into playoffs, but I just don't know. He's just a different dude. I think he's the MVP of the year, to tell you the truth.
100%. Yep, I agree with that.
As much as I love Josh Allen, I just think he did more. Puka Nacua could also be the MVP. I don't know. That guy's amazing. But who throws it to him? Like, this guy threw to Megatron. Look at what season he did. That was a dirt team. He's playing broken collarbones. How do you not, like, talking about killers and everything like that, how do you not play for that guy?
Well, he made Cooper Kupp a Triple Crown winner, man. Like, let's be honest. Without Matt Stafford, that wasn't happening.
Devontae Adams was on
Jared Goff wasn't doing it.
Like how many touchdowns did Devontae Adams get before he got hurt? Like, he was on pace 2 a game.
He was the number. He was leading the league when he got hurt. When he got hurt,
he was number 1 left.
I believe he still leads the league, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's unreal, man. And he's finding these guys, and now they got a little bit better run play from their running back there. And Stafford's he's not gonna lose you the game.
No.
He will do whatever it takes, and he will play with a broken back. And he's still going to be throwing a 50-yard bomb to Nacua. So that's not an easy game for Chicago. That's a tough one.
100%.
Yeah.
All right,
you're going to have to beat that team.
Next up, we got the Texans, the season that shaped a franchise. This year wasn't supposed to be a highlight season for Houston, but man, they went and rebuilt with what they got for Watson. Absolutely overturned them overnight. Got the old coach that used to play there. CJ Stroud plays with calm beyond his years. I do agree with that, but I also, he also is a bonehead and he makes bonehead mistakes. But he's young. You know what I mean? He's only third year in the league, and then
he's gonna make those mistakes,
playoffs, right? This isn't the house money anymore. This team expects to win. Like, they're not just putting fans in the stands, raking in the dollars in Texas. They're putting together a winning franchise here, I think.
I think if they want to be this franchise, they have to win tomorrow, or they have to win this weekend.
100% they do.
It's a must win.
if they lose this, no one remembers this season.
Nope.
And that's sort of harsh reality of like franchises, and you're looking at dominant defenders and stuff like that. And there's a big reason why Pittsburgh hasn't been relevant for a while, and it's because you were so good.
Right.
And now it's no one cares that you make it to the playoffs. What do you do in the playoffs? Do you make it to the conference championship? That's a good start.
Yep.
It's all right if you lose going to the Super Bowl. Look at San Francisco. They've been knocking on that door every year.
20 years.
You know what I mean? Those boys have been it's just bound to happen. They're going to win a Super Bowl. I just don't know when.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's got to be within the next 5 years. Shanahan's amazing. But with this Houston team, man,
They're special.
you know,
That defense is special.
honestly, I think Stroud, another guy that does a little bit too much off stuff, maybe doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm too old school in that sense. But without their boy, because he got concussed last game, is he going to be ready for this game?
Who's that?
Their main guy, their main wide receiver there. For some reason I can't.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember. Yeah, I know you're talking
That's
about.
true, yeah.
Like Nico Collins.
Yeah,
There it
Nico
is.
Collins.
Sorry about that, Nico. If you ever watch this. Yeah, but hi, by the way. Yeah, but he's amazing. That guy's a dog. But now you lost him, and I don't know if he's playing or not. He did. It looked like he got concussed 2 or 3 times in that Pittsburgh game. The first time I saw it, he might be out. Second time, I'm like, oh yeah, he is out.
Right.
So it looked worse than it was. I think it's worse than it is. We all know Nico could be out for multiple weeks. We've seen this before in his career. It's such a Houston thing for their wide receivers to go out before the biggest moments of their lives, right?
Right.
But if they win this game, I think it really helps them their future going on. I think they need to repeat a couple seasons of going to the next round. Like you make the championship round, you're relevant.
Right.
That's the way it is, right? You're the dog, right? But that's a big task they're coming up in Boston.
100%.
They got to win it. Like, I hope they prove me wrong. I'd love to see this coach and this team and this defense. I think this defense, especially being a defensive player,
It's one of the best you ever seen. That's the reality of it, man.
I had to them against Pittsburgh. I'm like, yeah, you guys did. Yeah, you're good. You're the best. You proved it, and you're proving it every game, man. Like, the only reason they've lost is because someone just kicked more field goals than they did. They had a bad turnover. Like, that's how they've lost, is they've had 5 turnovers, 100%. And they still only lost by a field goal, right? Like, they had, 4 against Pittsburgh? 3, 4? And they were still
turnovers. 5.
Like, they still just fucking dominated them. Like, so that the offense is holding them back. I think it'll hold them back even more, but I'd really like to see them win. If they win, Robbie, I think that is the start of a franchise. I think people start taking notice.
All right, let's step out of that nice realm of good stories and move into the bad stories that carry pressure and unanswered questions. Now, this one is really relevant. We got the Buffalo Bills, talent versus control. Now, Buffalo has everything you want except peace of mind. Josh Allen's brilliance always comes with risk. Every playoff game feels like a coin flip in between dominance and disaster. The Bills don't fear anyone, except for they have to fear what they see in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Especially now more than ever. I think if Buffalo loses to Jacksonville, I think people could accept that. Now that they're this close, now it's, hey, man, what's your excuse?
Exactly. Like, statistically speaking, this is Josh Allen's easiest run to a Super Bowl that there has been for him in his career.
Well, who out there besides Stafford that he has to be afraid of?
Exactly.
There's nobody. And I tell you, I take right now, I take Buffalo to beat the Rams. Right? But Josh Allen, man, please show us. Bring your boys to that final. Happens what happens after that. Like, you can't win everything. Obviously, you can't let these guys catch a ball. You can't. Well, he's basically beating these teams by himself.
Yeah.
You got to beat Bo Nix. You want to
Yep.
if you want to be a Hall of Famer, which I'm sure he's there, right? Just what he's done in the last 5 years, it's been incredible. If it wasn't for Mahomes, he'd probably already have 2 rings.
Yep.
Speaking
But-
of Bo Nix, we got the Denver Broncos up next. Now here's the crazy fact: the defense is carrying the heavy load of this season, and we all know it. You know, you got 10 straight comeback games in a row. Never been done in the history of the NFL. You know, when the offense stalls, the defense is forced back on the field again and again and again. And this is a dangerous recipe in late seasons. And like, I'm with you guys. If the Bills get into there with these guys, he's going to make them pay early, and he's going to make them pay a lot. But if they can't find a way to stop the bleeding in Denver, this is going to be a tough one.
You know how that core is.
Oh, yeah.
You know that coach is. I think if it gets away from him, I think there's a lot of panic. And honestly, I think there could be a knee-jerk reaction.
Right?
Because we've seen it in Denver do a lot of knee-jerk reaction moves at times, right?
You know,
I don't know, man. It's an important game for Denver too, man.
Oh, yeah,
It's a big
100%.
game for Peyton.
Yep. I still think the Bills take it, though. I really do.
I just can't. I can't see. They don't utilize Cortland Sutton enough.
No.
That guy, man, is such a beast. That guy's unbelievable, and I'm not getting anything away from Franklin and Mims. I think they're both good. That's his old college teammate. I get it. There's a lot of good things there. But that Cortland Sutton, man, doesn't miss. And I just think he's like a Terry McLaren for me. That guy is just so good and clutch. And honestly, if Cortland Sutton doesn't see 8 to 10 targets, they lose.
Right.
Yep.
I think they lose even if, but like that's a guarantee. Like if Cortland Sutton ain't balling out,
It's over.
it's over, man. Like because you have to keep up with the scoring.
All right, we're just going to switch over to the NFC right now. We're still in the bad. Not so bad, Chicago Bears. Progress comes with pressure. Chicago has taken real steps forward, and now expectations will show up. Will Ben Johnson pull it out? You know,
No.
Can QB1 absolutely take the world down? Mr. Caleb Williams, what can you do? You know, young teams don't always know how to handle meaningful games late in the year. Mistakes that were learning moments in October have become season-defining things in January. You know, growth is exciting until it comes with consequences. And we all know this. When you got a young team out there and it's the playoffs, you know, those couple boneheaded plays you made in the regular season, you can't afford those. Because good teams will make you pay for bad plays in January.
Oh, 100%.
Not do that to Puka Nakua, man.
No, you can't.
Can't do it to these guys. I agree with you, Rob. Especially with this Bear teams. I honestly, I think they put more added pressure on them than they needed to be. But I'm a firm believer they shouldn't have beat Packers.
Yep.
I think Packers lost that game.
100%.
And I know that happens lots, and I know it happens to more teams than not.
I feel the same way with the Eagles game. Like the Niners didn't beat the Eagles beat the Eagles. And I truly believe that. I think it was one of those games where you see a team absolutely fold under pressure and just constantly make the wrong mistakes and make those wrong things happen. And the same thing happens with the Packers.
8 drop passes and expect to score plays, right? Especially
Exactly.
It's important third downs.
Yep.
But
All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I just think with Caleb, I think it's a great thing. I think they're getting closer, but I honestly, I don't think they are where they should be. Especially, like, imagine Micah Parsons in that game.
Oh, buddy. Be a difference
It
maker.
would have been different game. Different game.
I
That
think
fourth
I
quarter
think
would have
with
went way
this-
different.
Yep.
and they're against McVay. It's a tough one for them.
I think Rams take that for sure.
Yeah.
All right, next up we got the ugly. You know, stories that turn that way real quick, okay? Right now we got the New England Patriots. No love lost there. Identity crisis in real time.
Oh, I thought you were going to go say Diggs getting in trouble with domestic
Choking his cookout some more.
Choking his cookout because he didn't fry the
Keep the
chicken.
stories away from this. All right. This isn't the Patriots that we've been recognizing from the last few years. You know, it's a little uncomfortable for us, you know. They're getting better. You know, their offense is getting better. Their identity that way is getting better. Every possession feels, you know, good, but still fragile. Mistakes can snowball really quickly for these guys. Let's be honest. They've played two good teams the entire season, and they both were the Bills. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
all I can say is this, and I know this one's going to sting a little bit, but it's the reality. Let's not forget they lost to the Raiders. Okay?
Right.
Let's not forget about that game.
Right.
100%.
You're taking one of the worst teams in the league. You're on an easy schedule, and you lose to the Raiders.
I
think their best game of the year that they played was against when they absolutely beat Carolina by like 50 points.
100%.
Carolina was,
you know, that was the only game that I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. No, at that time it was Carolina. It wasn't the Carolina we seen at the last half.
No.
But what are their wins? I think 800 of them, like 800% or whatever you want to call it, is against team not in a playoff record, a losing record.
Yep.
Right.
Like, congratulations, you beat the Browns. Congratulations, you beat this team. Congratulations. All these teams are terrible.
Right.
Like, so the win against Carolina was good. The one win against, you know, Buffalo was good. Buffalo is still trying to find themselves a little bit. Ton of injuries. I don't know, man. I think they've actually, in my mind, like you said, with the ugly, they've really dropped off.
Oh, 100%.
And just the caliber of play from what the first 5 games of the year, man, I'm like, they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
After the last 5, I'm like, they're lucky they're facing either Pittsburgh or Houston.
Yeah, literally.
You know, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Houston, but you know, if you're New England and you're saying, hey, I'm in this position not against Bo Nix or Jacksonville or Buffalo, you're sitting there going, whoo, here we go, let's go. And I just don't know. I think they get past this one sneakily. I just think that Nico Collins' injury's a little rough. But they ain't beating the next opponent.
No.
That's ugly.
Which brings you to your next statement, next question here, next segment. Expectation versus reality, guys. You know, some teams entered the season dreaming big. Raiders, 10 wins we were supposed to get. Some teams, you know, they weren't supposed to be there at all. You know, expectations clash with reality. Pressure breaks up teams, not talent. You know, January doesn't care what you thought you were. It only cares who you are right now. That statement.
That's the playoffs football right there.
Right? That statement is the mentality that everybody has to have. Okay, we went undefeated in the season. Put that shit on the shelf. Nobody's won. It's 0-0 for everybody. Playoffs are the playoffs. Anything can happen.
You've seen Tom Brady go in with a perfect record and lose it.
Literally.
100%.
This happens, man. It's any Sunday. Like you said, Rob, it's only as good as you are at that next play, that down, how you're playing today.
Right.
Like there's a lot of guys that got in there off seasons. See how you do. Denver and New England are 2 of them. See how it goes.
See how it goes, guys. And I'll tell you what, that's the end of it. That's the meat and potatoes here. You know, that's the Hoggie Shuffle. That's episode 24. Change is part of football. Coaches leave, systems shift, rosters turn over every single year, but the teams that build off that last. The teams that win when it matters, the ones that never lose their foundation, they stay strong in the trenches, they stay connected in the locker room, they protect the standard every day when nobody's watching. You know, huge thank you to Justin coming out today, being our guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
That was really awesome.
Thanks,
I thought
guys. It was
everything
fun,
you
man.
gave was awesome today. So thank you so much. You know, I want to thank everyone that's listening, supporting us, believing in what the show stands for. And you know, if you love football and the way it's meant to be played, big, physical, disciplined, accountable, you're in the right place. This is the Hoggie Shuffle. And we'll be back next time. We'll be back next week with another episode. Because around here, we're always getting lost in the shuffle. And as always, stay square.
Stay nasty.
Nice. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. See you guys.
See you guys.